In this video, we're going to take a look at finding the area between two curves, which is not a new topic, but we're going to use the calculator to find the area between two curves. So I'm going to show you how to use several features of your calculator that you will need to become very familiar with, and make sure you know how to do this and use these features when you have an assessment, and particularly when you take the AP test. So we have our two curves. They're given in terms of x, and the first decision we're going to need to make is whether or not to find the area in terms of x or in terms of y, and we're going to graph these on the calculator. I've already put the functions into my calculator, as you can see, x to the fourth minus 4x squared, and e to the x minus 2. And as soon as you get those in your calculator, and of course you can stop the video to take the time to put them in, and so that you don't have to try to keep up with everything that I'm doing. I'm going to do a Zoom 6 window, which is a standard viewing window. And I can see that there's top curve and bottom curve, but I'm a little concerned about the region uh, near the origin. Everything is really squished up in there, and it's hard to see how many points of intersection there are. Now, it's evident to me that there is clearly a point of intersection to the left and one on the far right. So I'm going to go ahead and find the point of intersection, the very first point of intersection. And I apologize, I can't write on the calculator with the pen, so it's hard for me to show you exactly. Well, I guess I could do this. Draw the curve. Looks something like that. And then the other curve looks something like that. So I'm going to find this point of intersection. I'm concerned about this region. Let's highlight it. I'm concerned about this region in here because I'm not sure if I even drew that accurately based on what I'm seeing. So I'm going to find the first point of intersection. The way I'm going to do that is like we've always done it. We're going to do second calc, number 5. And remember, you have to move the cursor. It's going to find the closest point of intersection. So enter, enter, enter. Now this may be new for some of you, maybe not for others. I need to maintain my decimal integrity. AP expects me when I use my calculator to hold all those decimal places. But I'm not going to take the time to write it down because that's a lot of work. I'm going to let the calculator do the work for me, and the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to go to the home screen by hitting second quit. Now, the numbers, the point of intersection has to be on the screen. And so I'm on the home screen, and I'm going to hit STO for store. And what it's going to do is it's going to take the answer that I just found, and I have to tell it where to store it. So I'm going to hit the green alpha button. I'm going to hit the letter A, which is right beneath it, and I'm going to press enter. And the calculator will show me the number, the value that it just stored in A. So whenever I need to pull that number up, I'll call up alpha A. All right, so I'm going to go back to the graph. And now I'm going to investigate that region in the middle that looks like it might have 2 points of intersection or 1 point of intersection. And I'm going to show you something very, very cool to do and to use on the calculator that not a lot of students have used before. I'm going to press the zoom button, and I'm going to do a zoom box, which is number 1. So I'm going to press enter, and very faintly, where I found that last point of intersection, you'll see a very teeny tiny little blinking, which is what's going to be a box. I'm going to move that and set the first corner of my box. Basically, I'm going to zoom in on a certain region. And I'm going to set my first corner. If you see that little plus sign, I'm going to press enter, and that will set the first corner. Now I'm going to use the down arrow and up arrow and left arrow and right arrow to capture the region that I want to blow up to get a better look at. Okay, once I have what I want, I'm going to press enter, and it's going to zoom in on that particular region. And now I can very clearly see that there really are 2 points of intersection in that little region. So I'm going to do my second calc again. I try to find my points of intersection in order. And it's going to find the one it's closest to. So I'm going to move it closer to this one. Enter, enter, enter. And then I'm going to go to the home screen by hitting second quit. I'm going to STO for store, and I'm going to put this X value in B, and it tells me what it just stored there. I'm going to go back to the graph, whoops, and I'm going to do the same thing again for the next point of intersection, second calc 5. Now I've got to move it closer to the other point of intersection. That's good enough. Enter, enter, enter. And I'm going to go to the home screen, and I'm going to store in C that point of intersection. And then lastly, I'm going to go back to my Zoom 6 graph for the last point of intersection. Second calc 5. Move the cursor closer to the point of intersection that we're looking for. Enter, enter, enter. Second quit. Store alpha D. Enter. So now I have all 4 points of intersection. So there was 1, 2, oh, I'm coloring in yellow. No wonder you can't see it. Second point of intersection, third point of intersection, fourth point of intersection. Okay, now the next thing that we need to notice is, if you take a look at your graph, is that in region number 1, let me do the e to the x graph in red. In region number 1, the e to the x curve is on top, and the x to the fourth curve is on bottom. But in the second region, the top curve and the bottom curve are shifting. And in the last region, they shift back. So let's write up our integral first. So in the first region, we'll write our points of intersection in just a second. We're going to do the g of x, and you can, on the AP test, if they name the function g of x and f of x, you can use those names, or you can actually write the function. I'm going to write g of x, that's my e to the x curve, top, minus f of x, bottom, dx. Then I'm going to accumulate the area in region number 2. So this is region number 1, region number 2, and region number 3. In region number 2, the f of x function is on top, and the g of x function is on the bottom. And then last region, we're going to accumulate the area. In region 3, the e to the x function is on top, the x to the fourth function is on the bottom. All right, let me pull my calculator back up, because on the AP test you have to write out your integral. You can solve it with the calculator, but you have to write it out. So point of intersection A was negative 1.862. You can write 3 decimal places, but you have to store all of the decimal places. 0.641, and then negative 0.641 to 0.376, and 0.376 to 2.353. Okay, so that's the definite integral that I'm going to have the calculator evaluate. All right, so let's go and do that. Math 9. Now, if you want to, you can clear out, make your screen clean. Just clear Math 9. Let's see, g of x is my y2, and f of x is my y1. So g of x, vars, y vars, function, y2, minus vars function, y vars, y1, comma, in terms of x, comma, from alpha a, comma, to alpha b. That's the first integral. I'm going to add to that math 9, so I'm going to integrate. The curves change, so the y bars is on, or y1 is on top. Again, the newer calculators make these functions much easier to access. Vars, y vars, function y number 2, comma, in terms of x, comma, from alpha b, comma, to alpha c, close, plus the last region, math 9, the, did I change? Yep. So, whoops, I didn't delete. Math 9, vars, y vars, function, y2, minus vars, y vars, function, y1. I didn't put a minus in there. I don't like these board calculators. Second insert minus, comma, in terms of x, comma, from alpha c, comma, to alpha d, close, enter. And the net area bound by those two curves is 10.418. Whoops, 10.418. Always round to 3 decimal places. You can put more, but you may not ever put less. So it's a lot of steps, but you'll get used to it, and I guess there's really nothing else to be said. You can watch this over again, and I believe in your packet I have some notes on some step-by-step notes on how to use your calculator to find or to evaluate definite intervals.